Hi, I'm so glad you're joining us today for this special session. My name is Amy Tippins, and I am the Library Media Specialist here at the elementary school. Before becoming a media specialist, I was a classroom teacher for almost 10 years. I've taught preschool and pre-K. I've taught first grade and second grade. So when it comes down to it, I feel like I've had a lot of experience teaching reading, being a reader. I've got 4 kids of my own, so I've spent a great deal of time reading to and with them. So while I'm not an expert, I do feel like I have some pretty good strategies to share with you today. So today I'd like to talk to you about some ways that you, yes, you, can help your child or a child in our community become a better reader. We're going to be talking about ways to promote literacy at home, at school, and within our community. Now, you might already be thinking, listen, I have no idea what literacy is, so I'm obviously in the wrong place. And to that, I say not at all. We're here to learn and grow together, and the best place to start is at the very beginning. So we'll start with the definition of literacy. In its simplest form, literacy is defined as the ability to read and write. And our goal is for all students to become literate. We want all of our students to become readers and writers. Now, if we would like to take it a step further and expand our definition a little, we can get more detailed. And we can look at a definition that's given in research. It's been given to the word literacy by Begin to Read. Through their research, they've defined literacy as using printed and written information to function in society, to achieve one's goals, and to develop one's knowledge and potential. And in my opinion, this is something we want for all of our children, our own and those in our community. Functioning adults, achieving goals, and developing knowledge and potential. Piece of cake, right? Ha ha. Not so fast. So if you're anything like me, you're starting to kind of doubt the process already because, like I said, I have 4 kids. We've done the whole virtual learning thing from home, and it was interesting. There were days I felt like we were just spinning our wheels and doing a lot of crying, and it was really frustrating. And the crazy thing is that I'm actually qualified to teach my children. I have a degree, I have multiple degrees actually, in their current areas of education, and I still struggled big time. So I took a live picture of myself to kind of show you what it looked like when we were working from home. And maybe you can relate when I start talking about working with your child on reading. Maybe you feel a little similar to this. Just kidding. I actually never looked that good beforehand. I'm more of a after is my before, but I digress. The point is, I know that trying to teach your own child can be a frustrating and anxiety-filled experience, but helping to promote literacy shouldn't be. We want this to be an engaging process for all of us. Nothing scary, nothing that will keep you up at night. These are all easily accessible things that you can do from home. Now, at this point, you're probably thinking one of three things. First, you might be thinking, me? Because you're not really sure if you can do this. And I'm here to say, yes, you can. We need everyone to help because we need your help so we can help our children together. It's a team effort. Research has shown that family involvement is an important predictor of children's academic success and social relationships. When children know their parents care about their school lives and provide them with needed assistance, they tend to work harder in school, possess more positive personality traits, and have better relationships with their peers. As a parent, this encourages me to participate in my child's academic success because, of course, I would love for them to work harder, have more positive personality traits, and have better relationships. And I can help make that possible, and so can you. And maybe you're thinking, great, what can I do? How can I help? And I'm so excited to be able to share more with you. Finally, maybe you're thinking, this all sounds really good, but I'm not sure. I need to know more before I commit. And that's okay. That's why we're here. I'm going to be sharing some practical, simple ways you can help. These are all research-based strategies that have proven to help promote literacy at school, at home, in the community, and from afar. So let's get started with our first topic. The first and probably the most important place you can help is at home. One of the most basic yet beneficial ways you can help promote literacy at home is simply by talking to your child. Talk, share, sing, ask questions. Riding in the car is a great place to do this. Like I said, I've got 4 kids. When we're in the car one-on-one, they're trapped. They can't go anywhere. So it's a great time to have that conversation because they cannot escape. But honestly, anytime you're with your child, talking is the best thing you can do. If you're shopping, talk about what you're doing. If you're cooking dinner, explain the process. Talking to your child is so important because, as brain science shows, the act of reading is not a given for human beings. We understand now that our brains do not automatically pick up reading the way we from our earliest days start to pick up the spoken language. Instead, the brain has to be trained to read. What kind of training are today's children receiving? The more conversations we have with our children, the more chances we have to introduce new words and ways of explaining the world around them. Children need exposure to letters, sounds, and the decoding of written words while also being immersed in stories and interactions that introduce them to the multi-layered worlds of science, art, history, literature, different cultures, and more. They need skills and knowledge. It doesn't matter what you talk about, it just matters that you talk. And here's the great news. If English isn't your first language, that's okay. You can speak to your child in your native language, and it will still have the same beneficial effects on their vocabulary and their reading and their engagement as if you were speaking to them in English. So it really doesn't matter as long as you are talking. Here's a graphic from the National Center on Improving Literacy that shows some ways you can support your child's literacy development at home. For young children, read books and nursery rhymes, talk daily about home and community life, sing, draw, tell stories. Older children, you can play word games, discuss word meanings, point out interesting or unfamiliar words, ask questions before, during, and after. And for adolescents, talk about learning and connect to school. Offer a literacy-rich environment. Model reading and writing. As you can see, for all ages, it's important to keep talking to our children. Another way you can help promote literacy at home is by making space. By this I mean designating a specific area of your home, whether that's in your child's bedroom, playroom, a small corner in your living room, just a place that is specifically for reading. It's like a personal reading nook. Why is it important to create a space for our children to read? Well, studies have shown that this encourages independent reading. Even if your child is not yet able to read on their own, they can still look at pictures and enjoy their books. A reading nook also promotes books over screens. If books are accessible, children will choose those. Having a space to read invites children to read for pleasure. It shows them that reading can be enjoyable, and it creates a comfortable and safe space to do this. So far, so good, right? Nothing too difficult, too out of our comfort zones. I'm glad you're still with us. So now let's move on to ways you can help promote literacy at school. The first thing we're going to talk about is something that we have in our current library, and they're called book bins. Now, a book bin features a book, obviously, and an activity, and all the materials you will need to complete that activity. There's also some extra guidance on websites that coordinate with the lesson or extensions that you can do should you choose. Now, the book bins are available in our library for checkout. A student would check one out, bring it home. You work on it together as a family, meaning you read the book together, you complete the activity together, and then you return it to school. Much like the book bin featured here, for example, The Magician's Hat. You read the book together as a family, and then the activity is a journal activity with little magician hats where each family member has a chance to draw what they would pull out of the magician's hat if they could, or they can write about it, whichever. Young ones can draw, older ones can write, but the point is to get families reading and working together, and again, that whole talking thing that's really important. Why do we have book bins? Well, research has shown that a book bin or a take-home activity increases student motivation to read. It increases their academic achievement. It encourages parent involvement, and it builds a home-school connection. How can you promote literacy through the use of book bins? Well, you can encourage your child to check them out. You can browse through the available bins together and decide which one you'd both enjoy. Share in the fun. When your child brings a book bin home, read the book with them. Complete the activity. Enjoy the book bin and then return it to school so someone else can. Or you could volunteer to purchase materials for a book bin, organize our bins, share suggestions for what you'd like to see, and spread the love. If you have participated in a book bin activity with your child, tell others, encourage them to try it as well. Let them know how much you enjoyed it. Now, this next way that you can get involved at school is actually one of my personal favorites. I have had firsthand experience with it, and I just have some great memories. It's being a guest reader at the school. Now, here's a quick picture, not a very clear one, but a quick picture of one of the times when I was a guest reader. This was my third or fourth foray into guest reading at my child's school. Of course, this was pre-COVID, but you can see little sister over there on the side who accompanied me, and she was just, let me tell you, completely thrilled to be there with the big kids. And then my own child, who's right there in the middle with me, was just so proud and overjoyed to have her mama there reading to the class. And to me, that alone is enough to curb any hesitations I might have, because my child truly enjoyed it and it was just a fun experience. Now, if you're not comfortable reading to a whole class or a large group, you can certainly read to a small group that can include your own child or not. I've got a few that would prefer me not to read to their small group, so that's fine. I understand. And we really just want to make it something you are comfortable with. If you have a book you want to read, you can bring it. Otherwise, we can provide it for you. I'm more than happy to send it home ahead of time, because I know some people like to practice, and that's fine too. Whatever works for you. We're just so happy to have parents volunteering or members of our community volunteering to come in and read to our students. In an article written by the famous author Mem Fox, "What Next in the Read Aloud Battle?" she describes the research that from around the world has proven that children who are read to regularly are better able to learn to read easily, happily, and quickly. Listening to beloved stories again and again is a step on the road to literacy that cannot be ignored, no matter how gifted a child might be, how disadvantaged, no matter what their grade is, their age is, or the language they speak. Listening to an adult read cultivates the essential enchanting engagement with books, stories, rhymes, and songs that every child has to experience before the formal teaching of reading can begin. The books that children listen to provide the best possible words in the best possible places. And reading aloud to children creates a sense of community, and it helps children experience the same shared secret joy of listening to the same great pieces of literature. The class can bond in a way that they become more like a family than a class. Why are read-alouds important? Because they create a sense of community over shared experiences. Reading aloud to a group or a class allows them to bond together over what they're hearing. It can increase vocabulary, and the listeners of the whole group book are better able to learn to read easily, happily, and quickly. If you're interested in being a guest reader, here are some ways that you can do that. You can volunteer to read to a class. If you're not comfortable reading aloud to a class in person, you can pre-record a read aloud, and we'll play it over our TV system. You can sign up to be a mystery reader on a holiday or a special event. This means that no one will know who's coming. You can come in costume, disguise. You can select your own book or read a pre-selected book, whichever you're most comfortable with. If your occupation requires you to wear a uniform, feel free to wear it when you come. Children love hearing stories read by police officers, firefighters, doctors, any kind of job, community helper that wears a uniform. That makes the read aloud all the more appealing. Or like I said, if you want to wear a costume, they love that too. Okay, we've touched on ways that you can help at home, ways you can help promote literacy at school, and now we're going to talk about ways you can help within our community. Community involvement is an excellent way to promote literacy. It's a wonderful opportunity for parents, caregivers, older siblings, or just members of the community. The first thing you can do is become a mentor. Now, before we go any further, let me tell you that it sounds a lot more official than it is. Okay, so don't worry, it's a very relaxed and easy environment. We want to make sure that you're comfortable and the student is comfortable. Now, why become a mentor? Research has shown that for individuals, mentoring programs benefit both mentors and mentees. Further, parents as volunteer mentors and parental involvement in schools has been associated with positive outcomes for students, including increased student achievement, increased self-esteem and sense of belonging, and increased literacy. Benefits to the mentor, to you as you're working with a child, are also significant. Here are some things that research and studies have shown happen to someone when they're mentoring a child. Benefits for the mentor are just as significant. The mentor can feel useful. They grow personally. They take pride in sharing in an activity that's highly valued. It's been proven to reduce negative emotions, and maybe not really a benefit, but it definitely gives them a new appreciation for the teacher's role, and for that, I'm thankful. The benefits for a child being mentored, the mentee, are higher school achievement, gains in reading scores, increased social competence, increased emotional adjustment, and a more positive self-image. These are all research-based, proven results from a child being mentored in their reading. Next thing we can do in our community to help promote literacy is to be involved with the public library. I know that sounds like a really simple solution, but it actually is that simple. We offer our students incentives along with the public library. Each student will be given a punch card, and every time they check out a book from the public library, they'll receive a punch on their card. Each punch also enters them into a drawing. The more punches, the more entries, the more chances of winning. At the end of the month, we will draw a winner from the public library and from our school library. Why is collaborating with our public library an important part of promoting literacy? Well, it offers shared goals and objectives. The public library wants the same thing for our students as we do. It offers a different perspective and areas of expertise. And importantly, it's free. You can join and check out books for no cost at all. The library meets the needs of the many as well as the needs of the few. The public library is also accessible to all members of our community. And the librarians are intrinsically motivated. That means the public library as well as our school library both need students to be successful. Without them, we wouldn't have our jobs. How can you use the library to promote literacy? Well, you could take your child to get a library card. Offer to take a neighbor or a friend with you. Make weekly visits to the public library. Spend time getting to know the ins and outs of what's there and what's available. Read to and with your child and return your library books in a timely manner so you can check out more. You could donate books for the prize packs being offered. And also encourage the public librarians and thank them for their willingness to work with us and with our children. When the incentives are there, the students will strive to participate more. We all know that everyone loves a good reward or a prize, but we're going to make it so that the prize matches the work. They are working towards owning books for their own personal collection. You might have heard the ideas for working at home and at school, in the community, but maybe you're thinking, those are amazing, but I'm not really in a place right now where I can come into the school and volunteer. Or maybe you have extenuating circumstances that prevent you from joining us in person. And maybe you have a business that would like to participate and you can't bring your whole office to the school. Never fear, we have some options for you. So let's talk about ways you can promote literacy from afar. You can purchase a book, or 12, or more, for a child. We would love to be able to provide our students with books that they can keep. Now, is this really necessary when we have a school library and a public library offering books? 1000% yes, it is necessary. Why do our students need books? Well, research shows us that having books at home makes a difference. A child in a home with 500 books would be 3.2 years ahead in their education, on average, than an otherwise similar home with few or no books. Access to books is a significant indicator of academic success. Exposure to print directly correlates with reading comprehension. And owning books at home boosts confidence and allows students to take ownership of their own materials. Knowing that we could have a hand in changing the trajectory of a student's academic success with something as simple as purchasing a $2 or $3 book, that's amazing and completely doable. You can help provide books for our students by signing up for the monthly book list. We will offer a book at a lower price point each month. The same book will be offered for all students, and you can sign up to purchase one. You could make a lump sum donation to give a book each month. You could donate a class set of books, sponsor a reader, give them the gift of books. And finally, you could grant a wish list. Some of our students that are in desperate need of their own personal books have created wish lists of their ideal book list. You could have the opportunity to grant those wishes. Another way we can promote literacy is by sponsoring a book club. Now, if you're not able to come into school, or maybe you don't even have any children attending our school currently, but you still want to help, sponsoring a book club is a great option for you. Clubs are not only fun, but they're educationally sound. Research shows that being a part of a book club positively affects a child's reading attitude, their reading comprehension, and social-emotional competencies. This means that they feel better about reading, that they understand more of what they read, and that they're able to empathize with others. Being a part of a book club encourages peer interaction. It lets students discuss things, talk to each other, relate to each other. Research shows that being a part of a book club develops connections between the reader and the books, or the reader and the other book club members. It offers shared experiences between the members so they can relate to each other, and it gives students a deeper understanding of their peers' lives. When they discuss personal stories and connections to the books they're reading, they're able to better understand where their friends are coming from. How can you help with the book club? Well, you can donate a set of books for a book club. You can volunteer to facilitate, be the leader of a group, and listen as the students read and converse with each other. You can sponsor a particular member of a book club. Maybe this child is not able to purchase the book on their own, and you can provide that for them. Or you could ask your business or your employer to consider sponsorship. This means they'd buy the set of books for the book club, and we would be able to share our experience with your business or employer once our book club is complete. Literacy development is integral to the success of our children and our community at large. I'm sure you've all heard of the food pyramid. You know, the one where there's recommended servings and nutritional ideas, things like that. And we've all seen the pyramid that working together, it forms a complete nutritional picture. I'd like you to think of this as our literacy pyramid. There are different categories. You have the most servings at home. Then you've got a set of servings from school, then the community, and finally from sponsors from afar. Each of these sections are important to developing the whole child, the whole literate child. Some are more heavily weighted than others, but without each of these things, our children cannot form a whole literate person that will succeed in society later on. Before you leave today, I'd like to leave you with a few handouts that you can take with you, or you can certainly fill them out and leave them here today if you choose. The first is a reminder of 10 things you can do when working with your child. 10 ways to make the most of your shared reading. Number 1, establish a routine. Read the same time or in the same place. Bedtime stories are always a great idea. Number 2, make reading an enjoyable experience. Never force your child to read as punishment. Number 3, read often, alone, together, as a family. Let your child see you reading as well. Number 4, reread favorite books. It doesn't have to be a new title every time. Children love the repetition and the comfort of books that they know. Number 5, bridge the language between the book and the child. This means if there's something in the book, a word that your child doesn't know, help them understand it, explain it to them, show them the pictures. Just talk to them. Number 6, pay attention to the clues your child is giving you. If they're tired or it's not a good time, don't push it. Wait until they're ready and willing. Number 7, talk about the print. This means talk about the words in the book, where they are, the way that you read them, left to right, how you turn the pages, things like that are important reading skills. Number 8, read various types of books. It doesn't always have to be a rhyming book or a sports story or a scary story. Expose your children to all different kinds of books. Number 9, engage children in analytical talk. This means ask them what they think about what's happening, what they think will happen next, why certain things happened. Ask them about the elements of the story. Get them thinking and talking. And number 10, encourage book-related play. This means ask your child to act out a part of the book or pretend that they're a character in the book, and what would they do and how would they react. Get them thinking about the characters in the story. These are ways that you can make the most of your time reading together. Secondly, if you're interested in any of these opportunities mentioned here today, please fill out this handout, and you can leave it with me today or send it back in at a later date so I can gauge your interest. Once I receive your form, then I'll contact you further to find out more details. And by all means, if you'd like to participate in more than one way, please do. Okay, if you fill out that you are interested in being a mentor, once I receive your form, I'll contact you and we can discuss further things that you are comfortable with, or if you have certain areas of expertise, or even if there are certain things that you would rather not work with, like maybe vocabulary is not something that you would like to work with a student on, and that's okay. We want to use you to the best of your abilities so they can reach the best of their abilities. Here's the form that you can fill out if you would like to volunteer as a guest reader, a mentor, a donor, or a volunteer. Once you have expressed your initial interest, I'll get back to you so we can really work out the details. These are just the basics of what you would be willing to do and your availability. I'm so thankful for your attendance today and for your willingness to help promote literacy with our children, our school, and our community at large. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments, suggestions, or ideas that you'd like to share. I am open to anything that you may want to pass along. I hope that you'll join me in the quest to develop the literacy skills of our children, and remember that it's a team effort. It wouldn't be possible without you, the parent, the stakeholder, the community member, without all of us that are invested in our children and in their futures. So thank you for attending, and I really hope that I'll see you soon in the school. For more information and sources, visit www.lmnopblog.com.